All right, everybody, welcome to the Below the Yellow Line podcast, episode 3. I'm your host, Armani Paul. We got the usual panel here, Joseph and Dustin, and we got some newcomers too. We got Danny here for his Go Throttle podcast, and we got
Full
special guest.
throttle.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
And we got special guest, NASCAR Opinion from Twitter.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome.
All right, so we got plenty of topics to talk about, but before we do that, just want to send our condolences to the mother of Dale Earnhardt and Kelly Earnhardt, Brenda Jackson. Passed away today.
65 years old.
Yeah, 65 years old. That's it's really sad to hear.
There's for his mother, and also for Kelly Earnhardt. Dale Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt obviously own Junior Motorsports.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty big weekend coming up for NASCAR.
Yeah.
All right, so I know you got limited amount of time, so we'll get to the topic you want to discuss now. So Talladega, as we know, is up this week, and it's one of the more controversial races on the calendar. Obviously, we know a lot of people have strong opinions on plate racing, or I don't even know if you could call it plate racing now because we technically don't have restrictor plates anymore, but it's one of, if not the most controversial form of racing that we have on just in NASCAR in general. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it.
Well, Talladega is just that track where, controversy is the big words defining this place. And this dates back to the very start in 1969, 50 years ago, when some of the NASCAR's greatest drivers had a group boycott as a result of the tires being used in the inaugural Talladega 500, resulting in many new faces in new places, including winner Richard Brickhouse, which would only be his win in his career. Also, just the fact of drafting, let alone, and the fast speeds and the big crashes, they all lead up to the questionable racing. It makes us fans and viewers wonder, is this what racing should be?
Yeah, I mean, I have a mixed relationship with Talladega. The only knock on Talladega is that I live in Greenville, South Carolina, where Talladega was supposed to have been built. So that stinks. But other than that, Dega's been my favorite racetrack for a long time. But the question at hand of is it real racing, what really kind of throws me off is I think in the early 2000s and late 90s, I think it was real racing because you saw guys that had the talents. Dale Sr., Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon. You saw guys that could maneuver their way through the field, and they did it methodically. Now with the current package, I mean, you really can't even move. If you look at it, I mean, you've got guys that are comers and goers, but late in the race, when you get 2, 3, even 4 wide, you're boxed in. It's really hard to make moves. It's all about if somebody will go with you. I remember back in the day watching some guys like Junior and Jeff Gordon that they determined if they were going to win that race. They had the strong enough car. They were a smart enough driver. They could make good moves. And now,
all
unfortunately,
comes down to strategy as well.
Right. And now it's kind of like I this year I was fortunate I got to go to the Daytona 500, and all it has been is a race of survival. And don't get me wrong, that's an element of racing. Crashes are part of racing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I can't call hoping and praying on one of the last 6 or 7 cars to finish. I can't really call that a real race at the end of the day.
And I think that's completely understandable where you're coming from, because that is right. The packages have changed, and they change a lot at Talladega, and they happen yearly. They come and go, and I think honestly, like, unless the type of racing at Talladega becomes consistent and steady, maybe that wouldn't be so much of an issue now. But it really goes to show, like, of how this track is known for what it is. The big crashes are almost a guarantee. You see in compilation videos, they don't show the little wrecks at Dover or Kansas. They show the flips at Talladega. You see the top finishes of the season. They usually come side by side. That's how they get to the line with a wreck behind them. It's just what the fans, some fans marvel over this. They love this. They'll come over from anywhere to watch a race at Talladega.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But at the same time, what do you think the drivers anticipate? Is this something they're really looking forward to?
Well, I mean, you can start. I mean, Tony Stewart kind of started all of that. Like, I don't think drivers look forward to plate racing anymore. I mean, I think they used to because it was the allure of Daytona. In Talladega, people don't realize Talladega used to be considered a crown jewel event on the schedule. Now it's just like, let's hope and pray we don't get hurt. We don't tear up $1 million worth of race cars, and maybe we'll get fortunate at the end. And I mean, if I had to guess, I wouldn't think drivers other than the ones that are like David Reagan, who knows this is his shot to win. I doubt other guys really, really enjoy going to Talladega and Daytona.
And you know what? If you mentioned David Reagan, mind you, his teammate David Gilliland in the 2013 Aaron's 499 finished 1 and 2. That is a team which usually expects a 15th place finish to be like a win for them. And you know what? I gotta be honest. Like, maybe for a driver like David Reagan, yeah, you're looking forward to Talladega. You got the race marked on the calendar. Or if you're somebody, maybe like Alex Bowman, who's just had lackluster performances, mediocrity, bad pit crews, 21st place in the points. Justin, you know where I'm going about this, but maybe this is a race that he's marked on the calendar after maybe Bristol or Texas. Like, this could be where I can redeem myself. It is a place for redeeming yourself. It really is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As much as I could say that Talladega may not be pure racing, this is one of my top 3 or 4 favorite races of the year. I tell people that have never watched NASCAR, go watch a race at Daytona or Talladega because it blows your mind not only to see what they do in a pack, but then let's just be honest, crashing is part of racing. As much as it's not what you look for, that's what a casual fan is going to watch. They're not going to watch some guys go out at Charlotte and have a 6-second lead. They want to see 15 to 20 cars get piled up and just completely carnage all over the racetrack.
Yeah, that's
you know what? You make a great point. You really, I think you worded it right. The casual fans, they when does NASCAR really come? When does NASCAR really come on Sports Center these days? Not really.
I know.
Yeah.
But they will come on maybe more than usual these days.
Maybe more than usual
Talladega.
when the championship is over, or like when the champion wins the race at Homestead, or either way, or something, or if a driver gets injured, or they feature it on Sports Center. That's
true.
the only time we really see something NASCAR related or on Sports Center.
Or a big wreck at Talladega that will end up on their not top 10s or something.
Yeah.
Let's be
it's
real.
really
It's
disappointing now.
Interest. It really is.
It seems that's been bleeding more just to the marketing of NASCAR in general. I mean, think about it. Not just Daytona, not just Talladega. When you see a NASCAR race, just like advertised on TV, like 80% of it is wrecks. You could probably time it, take out the intervals of wrecks, and I can guarantee you they will make a majority of it. It's like, come on. It's like, I get wrecks are part of racing, and it's an appeal to racing, as unfortunate as that is. But it's like, come on, we're trying to have a professional sporting event. We're not trying to have a demolition derby.
And also, we don't need WWE on wheels. But at the same time,
you know, I really hate that. I really hate that analogy, WWE on wheels. Seriously, it really doesn't make any sense.
I feel like some people try to use that as trying to say how gimmicky NASCAR's become, and not the wrecks.
Is this supposed to be a race, or is this supposed to be a show on stage? And that's what I'm trying to make out of that analogy.
Right. And see, the thing is like, don't get me wrong. NASCAR is an entertainment platform, but it is also a sport. I think the difference between Talladega 10, 15 years ago and Talladega now is like, look at what guys could do back in 2002, 2003. The big clip has been floating around of Dale Jr. in 2002. He went. It was still a great race, still very entertaining. Sold out crowds, sold out infield, but good drivers showed up at the end of the day. Now, a guy like Chase Elliott, who 10 years ago probably would have already won a plate race or two because he
Yeah.
actually drives the race, he's boxed in. If nobody chooses to go with him, they're not going to go with him. And at
And
the end
on
of the day, he
top
can't
of
really make money.
and on top of things, when you're racing at Talladega with like 4 to go, you nobody wants to help you. It's like every man for himself show out there. And
I think they're just
you
nervous.
mentioned it. You had mentioned it before. Got what's your name again?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So like I mentioned it, you mentioned it, like a guy like Chase Elliott getting boxed in with like 14 or 8 laps left. He has no help, and drivers are out there like Keselowski, Harvick, maybe Almirola are out there racing for wins, and no one is helping them. It's like something's wrong here.
Right. I mean, it becomes like I said. Look at the Daytona 500 the last 2 years. The only reason, if you can make it and still have a car under you with 10 laps to go, you have a shot to win the race. Only 5 or 6 cars are finishing the races now. So
Look
I
at
mean,
perfect one example: Jimmy Johnson at Daytona. He got mangled by what is it, Cody Ware, with like when he was
Yeah,
coming on
coming
pit
down the
road,
road.
and he managed to finish that race in the top 10.
Oh,
First
yeah.
top 10 of the season.
Well, mind you, there was the big one with 20 plus cars
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
before that happened.
and he avoided that in a way.
Like, we've seen cars get sideways, and we had other couple crashes. Like, we seen Stenhouse and Larson. Larson tried to block. Stenhouse, and then
And that's another thing about plate racing is managing momentum.
yeah,
That's no easy game plan,
Yeah.
especially
That
late
is
in the race.
super, super hard.
yep.
I'll give you a great example on managing momentum that goes wrong. I'll tell you, definitely the wreck and the clash this year with Menard and Johnson, and just how they just didn't align each other. And
The clash was just a joke.
Oh yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Hang on, let me turn my thing around.
We also had
I feel
Yeah.
like it's just impatience, you know. Someone's gonna be
Yeah,
impatient
patience has
during the
gone through the
race.
window at this point.
and we had rain. Remember, we had rain in the forecast. The rain was
Yeah, for now we're only on Tuesday or Monday, but still,
yeah.
I feel like we'll get a better picture of the weather when we come closer to the weekend.
Yeah.
You guys think that this new package without the restrictor plates with the extra inch or two spoiler is going to do anything?
That's a
man,
great question.
Major?
That's
It's
a very
interesting.
good question.
Here's a major, because like something that I noticed, like I don't know why I keep watching the Super Pre race shows like on NASCAR on YouTube, but they when the Phoenix race came, they're like, oh, with this new package, we don't know what we're gonna get from Phoenix. We got the same thing that we're gonna get from Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
And now we're doing it with Talladega. They're like, oh, we might get something completely different from Talladega. Do you guys think that's gonna happen?
The
It's a
only
little
reason
different,
I
you
give
know.
us a shot to have something different is because of what's different on the car. This used to only be made for Daytona and Talladega. This is supposed to be the tapered spacer and the spoiler. Should, based on the fact that the only reason that any of these cars ever ran tapered spacers and higher spoilers were for the restrictor plate races.
Yeah.
You would think we could see something different. But one thing I'm interested in is I don't know what that difference is going to be because, I mean, like, I don't know. Are they running the air ducts this weekend? I have no clue. If that's going to go a problem, that could all of a sudden create an issue with overheating, like we saw with the tandem drafting. Are we
Right.
going to see a massive pack? Are we going to see a bigger pack? Are we going to see a smaller pack? I mean, I really don't know what we're going to see.
And you know what? What about first-time winners? Who can make the mark on a first-time winner here? Who has the best chance of that?
Suarez.
I'd say Suarez.
I'd say Suarez
Byron,
as
or
well.
Bowman.
I'd definitely say Suarez. Or
Mind you, 10 years
maybe
ago, when we came here, 10 years ago,
right.
Brad Keselowski shocked the world with a James Finch car, making the upset move. And believe it or not, that was his first career lap led. The one that mattered most.
If I had to
Oh
make
yeah.
like a short list of potential first time, I think you got to throw Suarez. As much as I actually think I'm not sold on this guy like everyone else seems to be, I think DiBenedetto.
Oh yes, yes. The Benedetto. Look at his performance at the Daytona
Always
500
watch
this
out for
year.
front
Led the
row.
most
Oh my
laps.
goodness, has got to be the most dominant performance we've seen from this guy. There's no doubt about it.
He led 49
Slow
laps,
speed.
which even
Yeah,
that he led 49 laps, so he barely missed out on leading a quarter of the race.
yeah.
I
That
was
was a, that was still a strong performance.
It was still
Absolutely. And
surprising.
have two
I was
first
just
place
more
finishes in a row.
I was just more surprised from the fact, not from the Benedetto, just from the manufacturer itself. Because Toyota isn't, besides Hamlin and when he was with Gibbs, Suarez really at the plate tracks. Toyota wasn't really that. Toyota has really been that good at plate tracks. I mean, you can
Suarez almost
obviously
won the
say,
2017 race at Talladega until he and Chase Elliott got together. It was a
Yeah,
no
exactly.
Chase race.
Right.
so I was just more surprised from Toyota as a manufacturer more than just the Benedetto as the driver.
Well,
They're the only
my
car out
only
there for
like
shot.
I only solely give DiBenedetto a shot solely off that he's working with the Gibbs cars. Them by themselves, I don't think so. But the cars that I always watch out for, I don't know why they always run well there, is always front row. Michael McDowell always finds himself near the front. Then you've got David Reagan, who finds himself near the front. And then the crazy wild card, which would blow your mind. And the only reason I'd even put him in the conversation is because Michael McDowell and David Reagan or his teammates would be Matt Tiff. Now, I do not see that happening at all. But if the other two cars can stay out of trouble and carry him along, I mean, he could be there.
Certainly.
Wow.
Yeah.
He could
Yeah.
Even though
certainly get the job done.
Kamikaze has somewhat hatred
He's got
for
some hard
Matt
feelings
Tiff,
for Matt Tiff.
it is just
Matt Tiff
absolutely out of this world.
does not mean the Cup Series, but that's a rant for another day.
Like about
Oh, absolutely.
I was checking
And
about,
McDowell, I already went on my rants on Michael McDowell, so
about the anyway about the
you know, Armani, you know.
yeah.
about I was checking the aero package. The spoiler is up to 9 inches. It was 8, but they moved it to 9 inches. Oh, for the spoiler. We had like the smallest spoiler from last year is that's not that. It's still 550 horsepower, like normal plate tracks now, like the bigger racetrack.
Right.
Like,
I don't know.
based on fire spoiler. Yeah, go ahead.
They like switched the spoiler. It was 8 inches. They moved it an inch higher for I don't know what the reason for.
The cars
But
were too fast. I think that's what they said.
I think
Dang, man.
I gotta say,
Like if I had to guess what we see, so I was able to go to the All last year when they debuted package, and so if the idea is to slow them down, even though if I had to put a gun in my head, I have to make a prediction to what is going to happen. I'm
Right.
going to predict we see even packs because they're going slower and that higher spoiler. I think the only question mark is going to be what is like. Is the tapered spacer fancy word for restrictor plate? Does it really? Is it even different at all? I think that's going to be the biggest thing is I think we could be getting all caught up in the world's tapered spacer when from what some people have tried to tell me, it's just another word for restrictor plate.
I mean,
the taper is like an engine cap in a way.
it's basically
Yeah.
the same thing as a restrictor plate taper spacer. They're basically the same thing. They both reduce horsepower.
Yeah, man. Which I feel, I honestly feel, as a car enthusiast myself, if I was to run tapered spacers on a high horsepower car, that would be no fun for me. Really.
Oh yeah.
Well, people have always debated for a while, like, should they just take the restrictor plates off, which I think I could see goods and bad from it. The good would be we'd see these cars, what they could really perform at. Like we could potentially really see guys with the old package hit like
Right.
215, 220. But let's be honest, as much as we hate on the kind of gimmicky method of Talladega wouldn't be Talladega without restrictor plates.
And not to mention,
Oh, yeah.
unrealistically unsafe at this point.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
It's
gotta
impractical. It's
be.
dangerous. Those cars, and the problem with Talladega, why we need the restrictor plates in the first place, is because the cars, you have no choice but to go flat on the gas the whole time. There's nothing in that track that can make you
Yeah, that's
off
the
the
very
gas.
scary part about it.
That's
Because
why
when
it
I
is so
first
fast.
heard about it, the engine package for last year, from last year going into this year, I was like, "Uh-oh, this is not going to be good. This is really not going to be good." Because if you take a look at McMurray flipping at Talladega in the spring,
Yeah,
that's the perfect example one of why we should have them in the first place.
yeah.
Even then, that kind of crash would have happened regardless. If you get hit from the side like that,
But the problem,
air.
Something I read a while ago. I remember them saying that the restrictor plates, putting them on, was meant to be like a band-aid until they can until they can figure out what else to like fix the overall problem with the speed.
Right.
So the restrictor plates, they technically weren't meant to be around this long. They were meant to be just a band-aid for the fix. But I guess NASCAR kind of just forgot about that
Temporary,
for the longest
but
time.
Yeah.
it worked out for them.
But I guess now, with this new package, this is their fix, so they could take off the band-aid.
Well, that's because their cars are much slower. There's not really a purpose for the restrictor plates now.
Yeah.
The engine's already capped so much, you don't need to do it anymore.
right. The only thing the tapered spacer really keeps now is just the big packs. I mean, don't get me wrong; they'd still be going faster, but they wouldn't be hitting Bill Elliott speeds. They probably hit around
No, not at all.
190, 195 maybe, if even that fast with the lower horsepower. They may not even get that fast. So really, the tapered spacer is or restrictor plate is going to be just to keep the packs so it's entertaining.
Well, we've seen the tapered spacers be more effective on like some of the 2 mile big tracks like Auto Club Speedway and Michigan. They've served much better of a purpose.
The racing looked the same to me, just the cars were closer.
That's true. And you know the funny thing is, a lot of people thought the Auto Club race or Atlanta was going to be like a Talladega on another track where everyone's like,
Yeah, you can blame the Fox broadcast for that one.
not at all.
no, but like,
I
But
was
we
more
still had a
surprised
good
with Auto
finish.
Club, to be honest.
but like, we had a good finish compared to like 2018 when Harvick was like way far ahead.
And here's
Harvick
another
was-
question I'm asking myself, Justin. Having a big, like 9, 10, 11, 12 second lead, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Is that
Like, I don't know, like about like for me, it's
should
kind
we
of
be
weird.
praising how good the winner was?
Okay,
last year?
here's my
Or
take on
criticize
it.
that no one
And
has?
like I watched that. Okay, so like this is my take. Like when I watched the Long Beach Grand Prix last week,
Right.
and I saw Rossi's like 20-second lead, I thought of it as, man, that is a dominating performance. Like holy, kind of dominant. And then when I think of like a Truex win for 2017, where he had like a 10-second lead, I just thought of it as, wow, what the hell?
Yeah, and honestly, I wanted
mentality. I think it's just like what you expect from like different like when you think of NASCAR, you think like the close side, like it's like the culture of the different.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
That is so true.
We said this about the Xfinity series and the number 2 series and how it's evolved. That the culture of the series is different. You know, with Leach's or the Cup Series drivers participating, that it's not as accepted anymore because we're not promoting that anymore. We have new rules in place. The culture of the series has changed. Now, like the culture of the racing in NASCAR in general is usually close quarter racing. You know, fast speeds, cars in reach of each other, contact. That's kind of what NASCAR fans expect.
And
IndyCar, or any other type of racing.
I think another thing to consider is I went back. The first race I ever attended was the 2002 Coca-Cola 600. So one thing I've wanted to do was go back and rewatch that race. So I made like a quarter way through the race. And I think one thing to remember is back in the day, if a leader had a really huge lead, there were still enough battles in the middle of the pack that fans still had something to watch. Now, when most races are strung out and the leader has a 10-second lead, it furthers the narrative that it's boring racing. There's no passing. Nobody can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, man.
Yes, you have.
Absolutely.
I feel like a part of that has to do with the broadcast too. Like the broadcast quality, especially for Fox, has just went way down. They've missed a
Oh
lot
yeah.
recently. And also, speaking of passing, I don't know if you guys know Drunken Brian France from Twitter. But he said that
Oh man.
like the Richmond thing, he was excited about the Richmond finish was because he knew, like, yeah, it's exciting because, like, okay, 4 cars finished under like a second of each other, but he said that wasn't exciting because you knew that unless Logano like bumped trucks at the way, he wasn't gonna pass it because of dirty air. So that's why he said that the finish wasn't exciting. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, I guess he makes a point there.
Like,
Yeah, man.
like
Drunken Brian France, if you ever want to come on the podcast, just DM me.
Oh hell no! Please don't bring him on the fucking podcast, bro. I swear to freaking God, man.
Why
Don't
not?
fucking do that. Because he is the fucking poison to the sport.
no,
He's a fucking poison to the
no.
sport,
The
man.
poison is the
I think
poison-
I mean that's off topic. I mean, what we're talking Ryan France or something?
Oh man.
Drunken Brian France, the parody.
Oh, the Twitter page. I mean,
Yeah,
it
Twitter.
makes sense the name of that page. It really does.
He had that name before Brian France even got caught, so
That's what made it.
Oh.
Wow.
yeah, that's what made it funny.
That's
Like
amazing.
I read that, and then all I did was just go on Twitter, and then I just said, "Okay, let me see if this guy actually responded to this. Come on."
I forgot what he
man.
tweeted. I forgot what he tweeted the day after it happened, but I'm fairly certain it was fairly epic because he had that name for like multiple years, and then little did he know this is exactly how Brian France was really going to go down.
Oh yeah.
It's a funny coincidence when you think about it.
Yeah,
Now, what were we talking about before this?
we're talking about like pack racing, something like that. But like,
Pack racing, close quarter racing. Is this something that has to be mandatory every race? Like, do we have to force that issue? Does that narrative need to come into play every time there's a NASCAR race? Like, is there something wrong with the 12-second gap?
I think for right now, because the popularity of the sport has dropped so much,
You're right.
you have to have exciting racing because that's the only shot we have of bringing people back. Again,
Exactly.
20 years ago, it didn't matter because there was 100,000 in the grandstands, and those 100,000 people, they grew up going to local racetracks. They grew up, like, people don't realize I work at a local racetrack. Half the races, even at a local short track, the best racing you can ask for, there's a 3 or 4 second all strung out. That's what racing is. But the fans now, a lot of them learning NASCAR, and they want to see that excitement. When 20 years ago, the 100,000 fans, the grands, they understood what racing was. They understood that 12-second lead isn't something to be bored at. It's something to appreciate that a guy like Jeff Gordon or Bill Elliott can wax the field by 10, 12 seconds. It's no longer.
All right. Let's talk about 1965 Southern 500. Ned Jarrett won the race 14 laps ahead of second place. All right, I know it's off topic, but like, yeah, the big gap. We also in those days didn't have what's called which we know as social media. Social media has really
Elevated.
Yeah, it's elevated more demand for that weekly white knuckle kind of racing that you see on the tracks. I think social media has definitely ruled how we view NASCAR and really all sports these days.
You think they would have reacted the same if we had
A little
it back
bit,
then?
maybe. A little bit.
I'm guessing not, man. You know.
Like, if we're talking about that debate, there's a lot that goes into it, especially because time, because just the culture of racing, just the culture of the fans in general changed.
Right.
I was thinking yesterday, like when I started, people saw I was like live tweeting the 2002 Coca-Cola 600.
Yeah, I saw.
I could only drink, like, I think it would be so much fun if there was a NASCAR Twitter like 20 years ago, 15 years
Yeah,
ago,
man.
because the product
Just
was so
imagine.
good. Just imagine going into the 2004 race at Homestead, the first year of the chase. You've got 4 or 5 drivers, all with a chance to win. Kurt
Right.
Busch loses a wheel, almost crashes the car, comes back, wins the championship. I mean, could you imagine what it would be like to be able to share your thoughts, live tweet about what's
At the
happening? Like,
moment
we
when
would have
that
lost our
happened.
mind.
Think about at the
Yeah,
moment
man.
Kurt Busch lost that wheel. I think we all thought he was done.
Yeah.
Oh, thought it was
Yeah.
done
Oh,
completely.
yeah.
I don't know how the hell he managed to do that.
Or just imagine, think about this. I thought about this. So I'm biased towards Jeff Gordon. I love Jeff Gordon. He's my hero. Think about how many people these days sleep on Jeff Gordon. Now imagine if NASCAR Twitter was around when Jeff Gordon was winning 13 races a year, winning 4 championships in 5 or 6 seasons. Like he would probably, like how people love. We've learned to respect Kyle Busch. Like imagine the love Jeff Gordon, a guy like that, would have got, or maybe even hatred he would have got.
It would have gone both
Oh,
ways,
yeah.
just like Kyle Busch does. If you want to be brutally honest, that doesn't change. You know, the way a fan will perceive a driver could be good or bad. How you want to see it, it's up to you. You know, the thing about social media is you can't control who says or posts what. In this day and age, everybody has a voice and everybody has the ability to share their voice, whether it's for good or for bad reasons. We see this every race of the year, everywhere you go. There's always going to be that group of naysayers, these people who think that they drive the cars while watching it on TV and think that they are the ones who should determine how a race goes. You're going to get them everywhere.
The trash can.
Here's how we
already.
fix the social media problem.
It's by the door, isn't
You
it?
turn every race into Kentucky.
Okay.
You go to Kentucky
much.
36 times a year. So, Will, I know you said you have to leave at around 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah, I got a few more minutes.
Oh, all right, cool.
Anything else you want to talk about, buddy?
If I had to ask y'all a question, I want y'all to come up with, if you got to pick a winner, and I hate picking winners for Daytona and Talladega. Absolutely hate it because you can never pick a winner. Who do you think is winning?
Going off first winners, I'm either going to A, regret this decision, or B, love it. I'm going to go with Suarez.
Daniel Suarez. For me, I have to say this win will be Eric Almirola's second in a row at this track.
For me, I think Alex Bowman, because he did great in the spring, getting 8th, but crashed out last year. But he's been doing great. Like he's been running top 10 in most of the laps, the leg laps, finished ninth in the stage.
Justin, he's got to stay with the pack and
Yeah.
with the strategies, with the cars around him, and he'll be fine as long as he makes it to the
He
end.
hasn't finished in the top 10 this year, so if he manages to win, that'll be something.
Yeah,
He needs to turn around. The crew needs to turn around. The crew chief needs to turn around. Everything on that 88 car.
Yeah.
Yeah, side note, before I tell you guys who I'm picking, if Alex Bowman does not pick it up this year, I don't know. I think his contract runs through next year.
Yeah.
He could be going out of the 88 car. So everybody's assuming that a guy like Noah Gregson's going to just jump to the 48. If Jimmy decides to come back, Noah could go to the 88.
I don't see Noah Gregson like he didn't impress too much in KBM. He isn't performing that well, or not performing. He's impressing that well in JRM. So
I want to pick at him for a second. Here's something of Noah Gregson I've been noticing recently, and maybe if I'm wrong, just throw your shit at me if you want, but he's got to get his outside the track life together and maybe act a little bit more of his age. Maybe I'm overstating it, but honestly, Noah Gregson, he doesn't have to be so lavish outside the track. At the same time, that could be overriding his on-track performance. People said this about James Hunt even way before social media was a thing. In the 70s on F1, James Hunt's lavish lifestyle is going to hurt his F1 career. It never really did. But, Noah Gragson, I see potential in him, but, throw shit at me. But I think he's being too much of a know-it-all.
I'm like a semi-Gregson fan. I don't know a ton about Noah Gragson. I started liking him last year with KBM. I've never been a KBM guy, but
Don't get me wrong, he's a great
I don't know if
driver.
it's his personality. I think personality, for some reason, I kind of like him, but I have been a little disappointed in how he's performed this year. But I also think some of that is because of how good the 9 car has been with every driver the last 5 years, whether it was Chase, Tyler Reddick, William Byron.
Championships in the last 5 years.
He's a guy that I think he's going to have to run Xfinity for 2 or 3 years. I don't think he's as raw as like Tyler Reddick is, because Tyler Reddick's just a driver.
Yeah.
I think Noah's got potential, but I don't think – to me, he kind of reminds me of someone like a Clint Bowyer in the lower divisions. Like, he's not going to win a ton of races, but he can run anywhere from 7th to 14th on a consistent basis.
Oh yeah, well, this was your pick to win Talladega.
Oh yeah, so my pick. If I had to throw a little bias, eventually Chase Elliott is going to get one of these things. But if I'm going to pick based off of how strong this team has been all year, and the fact that he's currently the best plate driver, Brad Keselowski wins it.
Yeah. You guys were talking about best plate driver.
Oh no, we were just giving our picks for Talladega.
I honestly think that Brad Keselowski is going to win again by far, because he is really good at Talladega. There's no other way of putting it,
To me, he's the best plate driver in the field right now. I mean, him and Logano are both great. I think he's the best one.
I'd say Suarez. Last year, Suarez Racing dominated in the fall. Suarez, he's always been a really good plate racer. That 41 car led the most laps of last year's Talladega race. And if we're going off first-time winners, especially during this race, then I think Suarez.
Very cool. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to go ahead and roll out. I hope y'all all enjoy Talladega. Best of luck to your picks.
Thank you very much for joining.
All
Peace
right.
out, bud.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Take care. All right, guys. You can check out Will on NASCAR Opinion on Twitter. Really great channel. Or not. Really great Twitter account. I don't know why I said channel. So, yeah, give him one. All right, I think we're done with Talladega. So
Let's talk about some F1.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're coming out of here
no. Team Waters.
Oh,
You guys are nuts.
Oh my
I don't-
god.
about I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know what if they're gonna let Bellow stay ahead. I don't even know what's gonna they had 3 different winners in 2016 and 2018 with Mercedes. Rosberg won 2017 was Daniel Work. Wait, let me go check.
17 was no, 17 I think was Vettel.
No,
No, I think it was Ricardo.
Ricardo.
17 is Ricardo, isn't it?
Then Hamilton in 18.
Lewis Hamilton. won
2018 was Hamilton.
Hamilton won last year. Like,
And every year of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, we've always had some midfield driver make it to the podium. We had Chico, Sergio Perez do it in 16 and 18, and we had Lance Stroll do it in 17.
Yeah.
last year,
That's for Lance Stroll.
Vettel started in the pole. Hamilton was on the podium. Raikkonen was second. Perez was third. So yeah, Hamilton won in 2018. So yeah,
And it was a close one for Hamilton. Like he only, I mean, he
Vettel
only
led Vettel led the first lap to lap 30. Then Bottas led the race from lap 31 to 48. Then Hamilton led from lap 49 to 51. It was a 51 lap
right
race.
because there was a puncture from Valerie Bottas.
But like Lewis Hamilton qualified second.
Yeah,
Like we had
What do you think we're going to see?
Vettel who led the most laps last year at 30.
What do you think we're going to see out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix?
Vettel led.
I think Vettel's going to pull through on this.
I honestly see Vettel coming out on top.
For me, I don't know about Vettel because this year's not been finishing like the best so far.
Well, it depends on how Ferrari wants to run their team. So
Yeah, man.
For me, I think Lewis Hamilton again because I like both.
and Parmigiano
I got. Hey Joseph, I got one thing to say to the principal of Team Ferrari Scuderia.
Team Order Scuderia.
Team Order Scuderia. Cut out the team orders.
They just don't give
Preach, buddy.
It's not even the team orders that are just getting annoying now. It's really the team orders are literally destroying their race.
Just being abused.
It's not like last year where Bottas was moved out of the way by Hamilton, but they still finished 1-2.
To watch.
Yeah, but Mercedes still finished 1-2. Ferrari, when they do team orders, they end up finishing like 4th or 5th.
They're doing this early in the year, and it's only hurting them in constructors' points and drivers' points. They're only making the deficit even worse, and that's the problem that we have here. You know, the point standings have the Ferrari drivers, Vettel, the highest one so far, 31 behind, and Leclerc is 32 behind in 5th place. And here's what I got to say. Getting points in F1 is not easy whatsoever. If you're out of the top 10, you get nothing. If you're out of the top 5, you don't even have 10 points coming out.
Like I'm looking at the standings right now. We have Hamilton and Bottas 1 and 2. Then we have Verstappen in 3rd, Vettel in 4th, Leclerc's 5th.
Verstappen in 3rd.
Yeah, Max Verstappen in the 33s in 3rd. Then we have Leclerc, Gasly in 6th, Raikkonen, Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen, Nico Hulkenberg round out the top 10 in points.
I really like what I see out of Kimi Raikkonen. He's helping Alfa Romeo.
I'm not going to see out of Lando Norris.
Yeah, Lando Norris is impressing me so much.
Yeah, McLaren replacing Alonso.
Alonso, and who's the other driver?
Sainz is replacing
Carlos Sainz, who replaced Stoffel Van Dorn.
Yeah,
Van Dorn's now off to Formula E.
Like about I'm shocked that you see remember last year Hamilton, Bottas would let Hamilton fight. This year Bottas and Hamilton are it's like Nico Rosberg in 2016 with Hamilton. They were battling.
Mercedes, they let him battle the whole time from start to finish, and it made a great show for the fans.
Like right now, Lewis Hamilton is only six ahead of Bottas. Bottas won the first race, and then Hamilton won the last 2 races. Like they're both doing good. Both Mercedes are fast this year.
And I feel like Mercedes is kind of letting them duke it out so far. I don't know if they're really trying to make one driver better than the other for now, but I hope I'm not wrong.
Here's how I see it. If Bottas is at least in the championship hunt deep into the season, I don't think you're going to be seeing team orders unless Bottas is not even in the points battle and he's going to get then you'll see or vice versa. Then you'll see team orders. But if Bottas is he starts doing like he did last year where he was
he drops mid-season.
Yeah, he drops, then you're going to see team orders then. But if continues this streak, then I don't think you're going to be seeing team orders from Mercedes.
Because Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, they didn't have that. They were too close to one another in 2016, and they almost won the whole year.
And Nico Rosberg won the championship.
It was a close one.
and immediately retires after the season ends.
That's right. And as David Croft said, like father, like son, his Nico's dad, Kike Rosberg, won the 1982 World Championships. Father-son combination. First time in a while we've seen that.
That's awesome, man. I never even knew about it.
But
I do.
you know about Nico Rosberg? But for Nico Rosberg, he's been like when he won the title in 2016. His career started in 2006.
That
206
is true.
starts.
It never really got going until 2012 when he won the
Yeah,
Chinese Grand
2012
Prix.
was his first victory at China. His last victory came at Japan. His first entry was the 2006 Bahrain race. And his last race reign was the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
And he wasn't in his prime until like the early 2010s, early mid 2010s. You gotta remember he had a lot of competitive teams in the early 2010s. You know, even Williams was up there. Williams, we gotta talk about Williams. Something's up with them, and it's not good.
Yeah, that team is just. I don't know what they're like. They're like 1 to 2
It's
seconds
like
off the back of the field, not
Who?
Williams.
Who's
They-
off the back of the field?
Williams. They've just been like downright horrible.
yeah,
Well,
man.
Williams.
You think George Russell
The
and
slowest team, even on
they're good
F1
drivers.
games, they're the slowest
Robert
rating
Kubica.
team.
Robert Kubica and George Russell are two great drivers, but there's just no speed.
But Robert Kubica, he's not the best compared to. He's not the best.
But he did a lot of test driving for them, and you'd think it'd be efficient enough, but they always qualify in the back. Unless someone's summoned to the rear or have to start in the pit, they're like on speed. They marked the back road on all 3 races so far.
Except no, not the last race. Last place was Albon.
Well, he didn't qualify. Crashed in final practice.
But
like I said, on speed, like speed wise, they've always qualified in the back. Very, very, very last places.
Let me go check at Bahrain to see.
Like I said, excluding cars that started from the pits, excluding cars that didn't make a time.
But what happens if everybody made it time at Bahrain and they started like 17th and 18th? Let me go check.
Yeah, take a look.
Nope, they qualified the last row. God damn it! Why are they always qualifying in the last row?
They got problems with speed.
Or is it the driver's just being drunk or something? It's straight line. I don't know.
They weren't even this bad last year, were they? I mean, they were horrible last year, but I don't think they were this.
Yeah, they're worse.
I mean, even Lance.
Oh, yeah.
Let me go check Australia. Where did they qualify in Australia? Oh, they qualified last row again at Australia? Holy shit.
They qualified
Oh my god.
like all 3 races this year. I mean, I guess you can't really count China because of Albon.
Right.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
He used to be good. And we got to talk about Alex Albon.
Yeah.
He's someone I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Albon's like he's one of those like when he was announced, I didn't know too much about him, so I was just like, okay, he's probably gonna run like I don't know, maybe like get a couple points here and there. No, he's into Toro Rosso just in general just improved a lot. Like the midfield battle is a lot closer this year.
Yeah,
Renault,
man.
You got to remember where they're at.
Yeah, I mean Renault is as good this year as they were last year. Haas has kind of taken a step back a little bit, but not too much.
Last year, I'm going to say it again. They need a driver change.
Yes.
Grosjean is not as ideal as we all think he is. We need to take him out of that box. You know, he's not as stable as people think he is.
But who are you going to put in there? That's the problem. Who?
I think Alex Albon should go there.
But Albon, considering, I was checking, Toro Rosso is actually better than Haas.
That is
It's
true.
actually
But
true.
for the sake of Haas, you know,
But
to improve the team, you need a driver like him.
But like about Grosjean, it's like his car blows up. Like it's like basically Daniel Ricciardo 2018. Like his car blows up almost every race.
Or
Yeah,
Kevin,
man.
how about Kevin
That
Magnussen?
that's that's the unfortunate part right there.
What about Kevin Magnussen? You know, I don't see.
I
see
don't really
that
know
much
much
stability out of him.
about Kevin Magnussen, but
Kevin Magnussen, he's consistent. Like he's at least
yeah,
Yeah, he
he
got some
sounds
points finishes
consistent.
last year. He got points finishes.
yeah,
I remember.
he does
I think
good.
he had more than Grosjean.
Oh yeah, he was like eighth, I think, in the final. No, he was Magnussen was either eighth or ninth in the final standings. While Grosjean was like 13th or 14th.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Magnussen finished. He finished ninth in points last year. 2017, he got 14th. So that's a major improvement, actually. And then you look at Roman Grosjean. Grosjean finished 14th in points. In fact, he's never got a top 10 at all with Haas in points.
I
Yeah.
think
So,
it's
you know what?
something interesting. Wasn't Grosjean the one who got Haas's highest points finish last year in fourth?
I believe so.
I just find that funny.
By the
Yeah.
way, I was checking here, and the last time Williams did not qualify in the final row was the U.S. Grand Prix, but they qualified. Sorokin qualified 17th, Stroll qualified 18th. That's the last time Williams did not qualify on the final row
Dang, man, that's such a long time.
because Marcus Ericsson and Stoffel Van Dorn were just slow.
Wait, he's the Swedish driver, isn't he?
Marcus Ericsson is from Sweden.
Yep.
Sorokin's
We haven't seen a Swedish driver since.
Russia. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, that was the last time Williams beat cars on speed was the U.S. Grand Prix 2018. That's the last time.
And they've never scored a podium finish. Their highest has been fourth with Grosjean in 2018.
Wait, what? What about the? Wait, let me check something.
Yeah, Grosjean's the one who got them the highest one. What was that in?
Oh, man.
What race was that in, though? It was late in the season.
Yeah,
I'm checking Roman Grosjean right now.
that was 2018.
Team orders.
Yeah, Austria. Yeah, Austria.
Yeah,
That's the best finish so far for Haas total. And they really dropped the ball last year at Baku.
Oh man,
They had their issues.
that was. Would you call that like a choke? In a way.
I mean, that happened under a safety car. He was warming up his tires and loses control. It's the barrier.
But like it happens, like it's a
Everybody
Hey,
makes
man.
mistakes, but at the same time,
Hey, man, Ericsson hit him. What can you do?
yeah. Ericsson hit him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Marcus Ericsson in the
unfortunate.
9. Yeah, that's not good when somebody hits someone.
True. That race
Like-
was bonkers last year, I'll tell you.
That race was nuts. So
Do you guys want to talk about
So we're done.
bump day and what to expect?
Oh,
Oh,
Indy
yeah.
500. Yeah, we're coming closer to the talks for the Indy 500. By the time the next few weeks pass, we'll get a better picture.
I'm just saying this
who's
now.
gonna be there.
The fastest 33 make the race. No provisionals, no guaranteed spots, none of that bullshit. If you don't make the race, tough shit. You try again next year.
By the way, so far we have 34 entries. No, we have 35 entries.
Yeah, because in the newest entry is J.R. Hildebrand. And
Nope, we have 36. What? Let me count the entries.
J.R. Hildebrand, I think he's driving for Spielberg.
He's driving for Drawing Wide Bull, I think. He's driving the number 48.
Yeah, the 48.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Like I said, we don't have the clearest picture on that just yet.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
No, he's actually driving.
We have 35. 35 or
It's
33?
actually Dryer and Reinbold Racing. Dryer and Reinbold Racing. We'll have the number 48 for him, a special number for Dan Gurney.
Wait, you know that 48 has a teammate. Say Jerem.
Yeah.
It's Ferrum. That's
The
funny.
Right.
24 and 40 on the same team.
We had
Johnson
30.
and Golden.
We had 35 entries for 33 spots. Two people going home. Like we got every driver known. We got Joseph Newgarden, Castro Neves in the 3, Matthias Lace, James Hinchcliffe, Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, Felix
Who are the
Rosenthal.
drivers do you think are at risk of getting bumped? Just the
The only cars we don't have a driver yet is the 32 for Juncos Racing, the 77
We're gonna
for
be Kyle
Chip Peterson. Those are the drivers we don't know. All the other cars have drivers.
Who's that getting? Who's getting?
Who do you think's at risk of presumably gonna be bumped?
James. I'm gonna just throw some numbers. Pippa Man, Kyle Kaiser, because Kyle Kaiser is going that 32. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
I honestly hope that James Hinchcliffe doesn't get bumped out again
I
because
don't
that was
think.
Like I
was
said,
such
it
a
was an
heartbreak for
upset.
me,
No one
man.
expected that to happen.
But the problem about last year was it was a mechanical problem on the 5.
Right.
If there's nothing,
I do think that we're going to see a big name get bumped this year.
I don't know. I think it's going to be Pippa
Do you
Man.
think Alonso may get bumped?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
Why do I have a feeling he might be at risk of getting bumped?
For some reason,
People thought
I
Danica
think
was going to get bumped last
Ben
year in the
Haley
Indy 500.
is
I was the
really
first to
going
say
to
no.
get out.
She's not going to get bumped.
And
It's gonna be,
speaking of Alonso, I want to touch on something, Joseph. Remember my episode 6 of Full Throttle when you and I were talking about
Bathurst.
Fernando Alonso racing at Bathurst?
Yes.
When we will see that, if we do see that, what team will he?
Holden team. A Holden team of some sort's going to get him, man.
And I hope is either Erebus or somewhere as a 4 team. Somewhere
what about
like
Gary
Bottle
Rogers
Racing.
for it?
it's probably going to be like a Chevy or GM team. If they
The only Holden team that I hate is Red Bull.
As always. But at the same time, let's face it, they're probably going to have the upper end at Bathurst. You know, when will Van Gisbergen win this race at Bathurst? Come on.
Okay, let me ask you guys, what are your thoughts on the whole update controversy?
On the what?
Because, like this year specific, especially, like, you got Ganassi, you got Penske, you got, speaking of Ganassi, you should see him on Twitter. He's responding to a lot of questions on Twitter. But you got Ganassi, you got Penske, you got even Andretti, Bobby Rahal. All of them want basically the 25 and 8 rule to come back. They want guaranteed spots in the Indy 500. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think no. This is the Indy 500. This is a special race, a one of a kind with special rules. There's 33 cars, 11 rows of 3 for a reason.
Yeah.
You make the race, you make the top 33, you're in the Indy 500. It's simple as that. I don't think we should, pick at the rules.
Wait.
As is, man.
Yeah, man. I honestly
Wait.
don't agree with them with what they're trying to do.
What about like people like Ganassi and Penske? They own a NASCAR team. Like
Yeah.
the NASCAR team, you don't see a good team get bumped. Like you don't see a good.
Yeah,
team.
because it doesn't really work that way.
There are rules that have been in place for decades to prevent that from happening.
Oh, yeah, that's because with NASCAR, it's like they got the charter system, so no matter.
Well, the charter system is the modern rule book for how it works these days. We've had other, top 30, 35 and on points would be locked into the race, and that's depending on the car, would determine that. Then we would have some provisionals. And they're not 100% wrong when they counter state the idea of sorry that play. I don't even know if that's a goal. I'm watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on the side, but I wanted to say they're not 100% wrong to counter argue the idea of having this straight up 33 drivers. You make it, you're in, you're out, you're out. Well, I think how bad this could affect them if think of sponsor wise. What is the one race that your sponsors are really paying attention to? The Indy 500. What's the one race that everybody, whether they watch the sport or not, is going to watch? The Indy 500. If your driver doesn't make that race, if your driver's not on that 33 car grid on that Sunday noon time of day on Memorial Day weekend, all eyes are watching. It could really do some damage.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. We shouldn't change the rules that are made for something like that. And don't get me wrong, it was painful watching James Hinchcliffe go home last year.
If we're using the argument on sponsors leaving the sport, think about this. Arrow, James Hinchcliffe sponsored, they missed the 500. What do? They bumped their sponsorship of the team.
That's got to be
a new team into the sport. So if anything,
salt in the wound, man.
That's definitely salt in the wound.
If anything, getting bumped gives you more exposure.
Like for me, it's for me, some people say they should go NASCAR rules. We've seen the stupidest thing that I've seen, and a lot of NASCAR fans were shocked about the 2014 Talladega race in the fall. That how Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Justin Allgaier, and Reed Sorensen were the DNQs. And all the back markers were in the race.
Well, we had a different rule set in those years. It was from 2013 to 2015.
But they had top 36 owner points made the race.
Dude, don't forget that in 2015 for the Daytona 500, Danica Patrick almost missed the race.
Well,
on the duels.
Problem, Danica wrecked 4 cars in that whole week. She wrecked too many cars.
It's not even about the cars that she wrecked in speed weeks. I'm talking about that due to the rules, she wasn't. Just watch the duels over again. You'll see she was in the red zone.
But it's also because she was not the best in the actual 2014 standings. She was really not high in the standings compared.
And plus, there was loads of provisionals.
Compared
special rules on that.
The 14, we had other drivers higher up in the standings. Danica was not higher up than we had other slower cars Justin Allgaier was higher than her in points.
David Land made a great video on the whole bump day controversy and why.
He has strong opinions on that.
I don't think there should. I'm against anything that involves locking in drivers into the field. Look, I don't care if you're past Indy 500 winner. I don't care if you're past NASCAR champion. I don't care if you're Michael Schumacher in Formula One. If you're not fast enough to make it into the field, tough shit. You're not fast. You try again next time. There should be no lock-ins or anything. Not just for the Indy 500, just racing in general.
Oh my God.
I feel like you're right, but it should differ depending on the series itself. Like you said before, each racing series, each league that's out there has their own kind of culture to it. NASCAR, this would be very frowned upon if this was something weekly.
I just figured out how.
If it was something weekly, like Supercross,
Supercross is different. It's a different kind of.
Well, I'm pretty sure you want to see a big name in NASCAR getting bumped every single weekend. especially now with these new cars, where the new aero package, not even the cars are so much easier to drive. How are you going to wreck unless a tire fails?
What
Right.
about the rule book where if you win, you're in the chase? Like even if that happens, there wasn't even much of a difference.
Well, NASCAR has turned so much into a like. If you're going to get rid of one thing, you got to get rid of the. It's one of those things where it's like you got to get rid.
Each rule in NASCAR
It's like a tit
builds
for
over
tat
time.
kind
That's
of
the
thing
thing.
nowadays.
Oh my! What the? I figured out why Danica almost didn't make the 500. You had to be in the top 25. She was 28th in the standings in 2014.
See,
She had to be in 25th. She got beaten by Casey Mears and like slower ass shitty year drivers.
Well, we already know it should have
and then
done.
you remember a guy like Brian Scott went home after,
But the 62 had no owner points. That car, the 62 had no owner points.
and they were also involved in that wreck.
Yeah, like the 62 had no owner points at all. The 62 did not run.
I still can't believe I thought Brian Scott was going to win the Daytona 500 this year. Boy, I was wrong.
Yeah, he didn't race.
Yeah, I had this theory where Brian Scott would drive an extra car, number 44, Short Lodge, Albertson's Ford, for Front Row Motorsports. And in that race, in the Daytona 500, Matt Tiff would take out Kurt Busch, and Justin got pissed off over that. And then in the last restart, Joey Logano and Brian Scott would duke it out on the backstretch, and Scott would push Logano into the grass. He'd come back on the racetrack, blows over in front of the pack, and Scott would be the only car left to win the 500. And I was wrong. Due to the part that Brian Scott was not even in the Daytona 500.
In the
first
500,
place.
exactly.
He was probably skiing at the Shore Lodge instead.
Or he was sleeping on a couch. I don't know.
That is true.
Who knows? The world will never know. But
I mean,
Right.
Brendan Gaughan could have been playing cards at the South Point Casino if he wanted.
Oh my god.
He made the Daytona 500, so that didn't happen.
Remember Joey Gase and Brendan Gaughan were battling for like 5 laps straight.
That was the coolest.
They were like
that was legit.
yeah,
good
they got,
stuff
like,
right there.
laps. Like that was so funny seeing two slow cars just side by side for like 5 laps.
Yeah, I think we need less locked-in cars for the Daytona 500. Maybe have like the top 30 or top 25 get locked in.
Don't know how
No
500. So
no lock-ins.
Out of the duels.
No,
you know, hey, you know how Kligerman made the 500?
It's Ryan Tripp out of the pack.
You know
Yeah.
Kyle. You know when Kyle Busch spun out, he was locked down. He helped Parker Kligerman get away from the 71 of Ryan Truex.
Yeah, the higher powered car pushing him. Smart.
Like it's like
That's
the
some smart
96
stuff.
The 96 cars made 3 Daytona 500s in a row. They made 2017 and 2018 with DJ Kennington. And a lot of Canadian fans, including me, I was shocked. I was happy when DJ Kennington made the 2017.
I'm pretty sure you were.
Yeah, it's like holy crap.
I don't think no lock-ins for the 500. I think any no lock-ins for anyways. I don't care.
And will
Just
Fernando Alonso
too-
run a Daytona 500?
You're too slow, or you have a problem. Oh well. Better luck next year.
For me,
Yeah.
Should Fernando Alonso get a try at the Daytona 500? And if so, who do you go with? I love asking this question. I really do.
What?
Fernando Alonso with the 500. Here's an interesting tidbit.
Oh my God.
What if
not this.
What if Bell stays in the Xfinity series for one more season, and Alonso goes to the 59 for the Vine Family Racing for the 500 because of the Toyota?
That is true. That is true. He does
Will
have a
we
partnership
see
with Toyota.
when will we see it
Endurance
happen
racing.
though?
I don't think we'll see it happen. I think he wants to get that Indy 500 win first. Then it's more just like, okay, I'll do whatever. Then he'll try.
Because he already has Rolex.
He
already has
first.
Yes,
He already has
He has the
Daytona,
Rolex win.
the Rolex 24.
He almost had an Indy 500 win if that engine didn't give way 2 years ago.
That was
Yep.
That was so heartbreaking for me.
It was. It really was.
Well, he's in a Chevy this year, so don't expect any failures.
Yes,
It wasn't a Honda.
Oh,
when
I
he
thought
blew
no.
up.
He's in it with McLaren. Well,
Yeah, McLaren.
McLaren. Yes, McLaren is with Honda still.
McLaren's using Chevy engines.
Yeah,
Oh,
McLaren has Chevy.
we'll take an extra look after the podcast. Maybe we'll find that out. But
It's literally my desktop picture for my computer.
okay.
Chevrolet. Yeah, literally, one of the sponsors on the car is AutoNation Chevrolet.
Okay, that's a dealership. But yeah.
Why would a Chevrolet sponsor a Honda car? Of course,
That would be quite stupid.
And I even see a Chevy tie on the front of the car.
that was
You guys, maybe that's off topic from where we're at now. Dan, I just want a quick question. When's the next supercar race weekend?
I think it is Perth. The Perth Super Sprint. Hang on.
Let me take a look.
Hang on. Let me take a look. 2019 Supercar season.
Yeah, we go to
Perth.
Perth.
May 2nd and May 4th. Not this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah, so they get an extra week off from Phillip Island.
Yep.
And they have two
You
races.
know, I'd love to meet a supercar driver since they have the week off before the Perth Super Sprint. You know, I love for them to come to the auto show out here in New York.
You said
and,
it.
You know,
you freaking said it, dude. You can't take it back. You said in Long Island.
No. Busted.
Go on, Dan.
But it would be really cool for a supercar driver to come out here to New York Auto Show, just to check out some cool cars and meet some people, man. Who knows? You might even have a few fans out here, like me.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be like, I've been noticing
What?
that if some people want us to somehow get contact with a NASCAR driver on the podcast, oh god. Like that would be hard to get a NASCAR driver on this podcast. I think. It would be quite hard. Like,
All right, time to see which random NASCAR people follow me on Twitter.
wait, let me go check something. Is there anybody watching this podcast right now? Let me go check. One person watching? What the? What? Oh god. Okay, there's only 2 comments on this in the chat right now.
Dang.
There's only a random person that wrote something in French, and another one. If NASCAR were like playoffs hockey, it would be badass. A badass. What? I don't get it.
Yeah, what do you think?
What would be badass?
Did NASCAR like a hockey type of playoffs?
Podcast had 30
Where the
about
two
all
drivers
that.
face each other in each race.
The Legion podcast number 1 has 86 total views right now. That's not bad. Right.
All right, we got anything else to talk about, really?
We're going to talk about the ARCA Racing Series. Anybody?
ARCA, yeah,
ARCA.
Stupid.
This should be fun.
Yeah, ARCA Talladega this weekend.
200-mile race.
Yep. 76 laps around Talladega on Friday.
Unfortunately, I'll be missing it because I have work and also I'm going to the auto show on Saturday.
it's going to be this race is going to be round 4 of the season, and so far the championship standings.
Travis Braden's leading the points over.
Only 3 races in. It's Michael Self with 2 wins, which happen to be his only top 5s and top 10s the whole year. Brett Holmes, third. Joe Graff Jr., Tommy Vi Jr., Chandler Smith, Harrison Burton, Christian Atkins tied against Brett Smith. A lot of guys in that top 10 will not be in that race. Or if there are in the race, they won't be a factor.
Like, Christian Eckes, he fell down in points because he missed Salem because of his food poisoning. But he's racing.
He's only behind 105 points, though.
But
And you
he's,
gotta remember the old points format from NASCAR's Winston Cup days.
but like,
Should be good.
but Christian Eckes, he could catch up again because we know how he is. He's really good. Like, he's gonna be contender. Like, he's gonna be a contender at Talladega. If he doesn't crash out of the race.
And you know what? This is a recovery race, and at least, the race team missed only had, 19 cars in it?
Yeah.
They didn't lose much. And the drivers that were in the race aren't really going to be in the championship, so they didn't lose too much either. So it's all going to play in favor of him. Well, you want to talk some endurance racing? When's the World Endurance Championship come back? I think they race in Spa.
Oh yeah, Spa. Let me go check. Oh come on. Okay.
I usually use Wikipedia for this.
I almost broke my phone.
iPhones run slow, right?
No, I almost dropped my phone.
Oh.
Android is superior to Apple. Change my mind.
No, my friend's Android blew up in his bed and blew up his bed. Next race is May 4th, so Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday at Spa. 6 hours of Spa.
6-hour race, and yeah, that's pretty much what we got. And I believe that same weekend the IMSA is coming back.
Yeah, IMSA's on Sunday, May 5th at Mid-Ohio the same week.
And speaking of IMSA and sports car racing, McLaren has announced they have enhanced their GT3 program, and they're going to debut in IMSA at Mid-Ohio. Starting Mid-Ohio, they'll be racing with their GT3s. So that's going to be an interesting debut for them, racing in the IMSA Championship for the first time.
The team name is Compass Racing, number 76.
They're going to run the McLaren 720S GT3.
The drivers are Paul Holton and Matt Plum are the drivers of that 76 McLaren. They're both from the United States. Max Plum's from Rhode Island, and the other driver's from... He has no Wikipedia page, I guess.
We'll probably find out more about him when the race comes.
Yeah. And it's going to be a 2-hour 40-minute race at Mid-Ohio. All classes are in this race. It's on May 5th, Sunday, May 5th, the same day as the Cup race from Dover. The Acura Sports Car Challenge at Mid-Ohio on NBCSN.
Okay, so I think we got everything covered. Armani,
Yeah.
what would you say?
Yeah, I think we got everything covered. You guys have anything you want to say before we sign off?
Oh, yeah. If you guys haven't, depending on where you live, get signed up and take part in the play-by-play sports broadcasting camps. There are camps everywhere around the U.S., including their base in Philly. My camp, Armani and I, will be at the South Florida camps at FAU and Boca Raton on June 10th, I believe. Yeah, June 10th. So, yeah, I'm great. I'm great with the guys. I know them, Jeremy Treatment and Steven Goldstein. They're all worthwhile. Spending 1 week, taking 1 week out of your summer and going to them. It's all worth it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Not really.
All right. I'm just gonna say I will be going to the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500.
Oh man, that's got to be so awesome.
Going to be my first IndyCar race, my first Indy 500. Hopefully, I'll be able to. I'll be at the track for about 2 weeks, so I'll probably touch down at Indy at about the 10th or the 12th. I won't attend the IndyCar Grand Prix just because well, too much money. So, but I will be there for the Indy 500. So yeah, I might not be able to do like 1 or 2 podcasts depending on the access I have to a computer or not.
Right.
I'll
Maybe
let-
some setup, I'd say, for the
Yeah.
company.
All right. Other than that, thank you all for tuning into the Below the Yellow Line podcast, episode 3. As always, Justin, Daniel, Joseph, thank you for joining.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem.
All right, you can check out World Racing Media on YouTube, obviously, and on Twitter. You can check me out on Instagram at velocity87_. You can check me out on Twitter at 87velocity. Yeah, and that's everything. So hope y'all enjoyed, and thanks for watching.
Yep.